Hi, I'm Owen Hassett from Independent Trustee Company. Today I'm going to ask the question, should I move my pension scheme from the UK prior to Brexit? Initially, this looks like a straightforward yes. If we look at what has happened over the last 5 to 10 years in the UK, we see the government constantly make it more difficult to move your scheme out of the country and to move money out of DB schemes. Firstly, we've seen non-funded schemes such as the NHS be completely prevented from offering transfer values. Then we saw the removal of the cure-up status from pension schemes right across the globe, with the exception of a small number of countries such as Malta. Providers were entitled to reapply to be added back onto the cure-ups list. Some managed to do so, a lot didn't. Following that, in March 2017, we saw the implementation of new rules, including a 25% tax penalty if these rules are broken. We've also more recently seen the introduction of new rules on DB schemes, which allow the trustee to stop any transfer for a period of up to 3 months for no reason. Taking all this into account, it is quite likely that come the 1st of January 2021 or shortly after, ROPS transfers will no longer be possible. So, what are the key questions you should ask if you have a UK pension benefit? Firstly, is it transferable? Secondly, where should I transfer it to? And thirdly, does it make financial sense to transfer? Looking at the first question, is it transferable? Is it in a DB scheme that's funded? Is it in a group DC scheme? Or is it in an individual DC scheme? If the answer to these is yes, it's quite possible you will be able to move your scheme. Next, if we look at liquidity, it's important that all assets are liquid because an in-specie transfer from the UK to Ireland is almost impossible to do. If there are illiquid assets, you then need to check if your scheme can be split. Can you move the liquid assets to Ireland while leaving the illiquid assets in the UK until they become liquid? If you're in a DB scheme, is the DB scheme funded? Is the DB scheme offering transfer values? And then what multiple are they offering? We have seen multiples in the UK up as high as 40 times. Secondly, where should I transfer it to? The first thing to note is your country of residence. If you are living in the EEA, then the scheme can transfer to any approved ROPS in the EEA. It's important to note that if you leave the EEA within 5 years of the ROPS leaving the UK, the scheme should either move back to the UK or to an approved ROPS in your new country of residence. If you are currently living in Ireland but intend to retire abroad, it may be better off not to bring the ROPS to Ireland, as both the PRSA and the PRB will require significant planning to get them out of the country prior to retirement. As I'm sure you're aware, having a post-retirement product in Ireland when living abroad can be detrimental to your tax affairs. The third question is a financial one. The scheme in the UK is typically not a recognised overseas pension arrangement, and as such it does not fall into the Irish tax-free lump sum rules. This starts to become significant if you have pension funds in Ireland that will allow you to take a 200,000 or greater retirement lump sum. If this is the case, you may be better off to move your UK scheme to another EU state that will allow for the retirement lump sum to be paid gross of tax. It is also important to consider the benefit of flexi access in the UK. This may allow you, if you have a small pot, to take the entire value at zero or a low rate of tax depending on your circumstances. If you think that moving your scheme out of the UK may be an option for you, I would strongly urge you to take good independent financial advice before making any decisions. If you then wish to proceed and you're moving your scheme to ITC, there are a number of steps you need to follow. Firstly, request a cure-ups pack or an international transfer pack from your current trustee or administrator. Secondly, return that pack to ITC as we will need to complete some of it, along with the HMRC form and your ITC application form. If you're in a DB scheme or a DC scheme that has a guaranteed value in excess of £30,000, a pension specialist report from the UK will be required. we can help you organise that. Finally, when the money arrives into Ireland, there are specific rules that need to be met for a period of 5 years to avoid the 25% tax penalty that we spoke about. Again, ITC as your trustee will help you with that. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at the details on screen. Take care.